Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HGUC Hyaku-Shiki Revive version. So here we have the big number 200 in the HGUC line, and it is the Revive version of the Hyaku-Shiki. I would say it definitely needed a revive, so there's no question about that. Is it really worthy of being 200? I don't know what's really so special about being 200, but Bandai kind of hyped up that number 200 was going to be something big. Does this live up to that? Maybe? I don't know. It's a really nice kit, that's for sure, as all of the Revive kits have been. But could it have been something a little bit more special? I think possibly. I don't know. But anyway, the Hyaku-Shiki is of course a very famous and popular design, so I can understand why it was a big deal to make this. Now of course everyone's big worry, and probably the thing that you're most interested in seeing in this review, is just about that gold plastic. Because I mean, like I said, everyone pretty much knows that all the Revive kits have been really nice. The Hyaku-Shiki is a cool design. Pretty much in terms of like the just proportions and look of this kit, it's pretty much just a scaled down version of the Master Grade. Later on in this review I'll put it just side by side with the Master Grade so you can see, but it's very, very similar in terms of just proportions and everything, how it looks. So someone asked me if this is worth getting, or whether you should get this or the Master Grade. I'll just save you some time of watching this entire review if you're wondering that, and just get the Master Grade if you can, because like I said, it's so similar. You're better off just getting the Master Grade, I think, if you can. If you can't afford it, or you prefer like 1/144 scale kits, or just for whatever reason, if you maybe prefer this one, it's a very good kit, definitely, but I think the Master Grade is still better. So anyway, thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store, as always, for sending me this kit. If you guys are living in Australia, check out MindFenix Hobby Store. The link is always in the description down below. Check that out and shop with them. Anyway, the gold. Yeah, so the gold is not great, but better than I expected. What's better than I expected is the color. I expected the color to be pretty bad. The color is actually not that bad. The problems that I have with it, basically the biggest problem that I have with it, is how you can see the inner part of the mold through the outside. So the outside is going to be like flat, but then you can see like these circles in it. That's like the inside part of the mold. So that's my biggest disappointment with that. So for that reason, I think you definitely have to paint this gold. If you couldn't see that, I would say you could maybe get away with not painting this, because the gold really isn't as bad as I expected. It's not as bad as it's been on some other kits, like the HGUC. The gold on that we know is pretty terrible. So you'll see that, I think, more throughout this review, at how bad that is in the surface of the gold there. Overall, the nub marks on the gold is also pretty good. A lot of it is undergated, not everything, but most of the nub marks on the gold parts are undergated, so I'm sure we're going to have a plated version of this at some point, whether it's a P-Bandai version or an Expo exclusive version or something. So Bandai did have the foresight to undergate it, thank God. The parts that are not undergated are usually in areas where it's like hidden. Like for example, on the forearms, there's a really bad gate that's like right on the side, but it's kind of like hidden underneath that part there, so it's not too bad. So overall, the gate marks on the gold parts is not too bad. I would still not recommend spraying this while the parts are on the runner. Some people do that. It's really not a good idea. Of course, you should always cut the parts off before spraying any paint on them. So just because they're undergated, don't think that you can get away with doing that, because there are still some gate marks here and there. Anyway, so let's take a look at the articulation, as that's always one of the shining points of these kits. For the eyes, if you'll remember, we had a few different options for the eyes. We had these just black, and then that like a digital looking eye there. I have used the kind of standard Gundam eyes there. And also, you'll notice there are these red and black little stickers. Those are going on these little triangles here on the shoulders. I didn't use those because I didn't realize before the unboxing that those were actually going to be like actual red parts behind the gold part. But because that's actually red parts, really the only thing you're gaining from these stickers is just a tiny bit of black. And for me, it wasn't really worth putting these stickers on the small parts. I figured the stickers were not going to improve the look. Anyway, back to the eyes. Yeah, you have three different options here. The clear piece, you're sticking this the eye sticker on top of the clear piece, so it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a clear piece, but you do have that anyway if you want. Green sticker there on the top for the camera and one on the back of the head as well. So the head is going to be able to go up to about there. If you'll remember from the unboxing, the only part that we have left over from this kit is the polycap neck piece, so this is an actual part for a neck, it's not a polycap, and down nice and far to there. Unlike the master grade, there's no cockpit hatch here opening, of course. In the stomach though, the stomach is going to have a nice crunch to about like that, and then back to there, so pretty good range of movement forward and back, and then side to side. It's pretty much just all because of this ball joint here is going to give us a kind of good range. So if you just pull that up a little bit off the ball joint, you're going to get a little bit of movement in pretty much any direction that you want. Shoulders are the kind that are going to be swinging forward on the polycap, so you can see that polycap just swings out a little bit like that, and the shoulders are going to allow you to go only up to about there, not really all that high because of this piece here on the shoulder, which does move that little flap there. Again, just nice that we have these inset little red parts there and then there. I did use these sticker decals here for the Hyaku symbol on the shoulders. It comes with 4 of them, but I think you're only supposed to put them on the front of the shoulders, not on the back. So I didn't put them on the back. I don't know why you have 4 of them, maybe just extras in case you need them, but you do have those. Anyway, the elbow is, of course, has a nice bend, but I think just the shape, it's a double joint, but just the shape of the armor just doesn't allow you to bend it much farther than that. But here you can see a couple of nub marks. So no matter what you do with these, even if I like sanded that really, really nicely, there is still going to be that nub mark there just because that's just like in the mold of the plastic. That gold plastic as it's flowing through that gate just makes it darker in that spot. So like even if that's like perfectly super smooth, you're still going to see that dark spot there. So yeah, you are going to see some of these nub marks on this kit no matter what you do. Again, the nice red bits poking out there on the side of the arm, and for here, these little pipings here on the front of the arm. So overall, I think really, really good color separation, that's for sure. And then the wrists, of course, are just on ball joints. Here you can see we have closed fists for this kit, which is nice. It's a nice addition to have closed fists for a change. The front skirts are joined, but you can separate those. There's no detail underneath really. It's kind of, not really much of anything there. And then on the side skirts, those will go up a little bit to about there. Back skirt doesn't move, but we have our beam saber handles here on the back. Those just clip in and pop out. They're kind of interesting looking there. So those are there. On the backpack, just these binders will move. They're just attached to the backpack via ball joint. So they can move back and forth and up and down, and then they'll bend like so, about that much. You can bend them like that. So those you can move around in every which way, and they're nice and fun. The legs are of course going to rotate at the top, but really only so much, as much as you're going to need, but like that's the extent of it there before it kind of gets stopped just by the armor. Again, nice little gray bits of armor poking out the side of the thighs, and then red bits poking out the outside and inside of the lower legs. The knee is of course a double joint here. Going to give you about that much range of movement at the knee. This knee armor doesn't move, that's just fixed there. Unfortunately, it would have been nice if maybe that moved a little bit as well. But that's just stuck there. Lower leg is looking very reminiscent of the previous HG kits, like the Delta Plus, things like that. So that looks really nice, but it's not really anything new. The feet will point very far down, like so. To there. There's no bend in the feet though, so they're just flat. We do have some hollow space inside there. It's like half detailed, half hollow. Forward to about there, and then side to side a pretty good amount like that. So overall, articulation is good. I think it's just standard for the Revive kits, I think. Still not quite as good as the ARC 782, but you know, it's okay. So for hand options, aside from those holding hands, aside from those open hands, we also have holding hands for the left and the right. No trigger fingers, no open hands, that's it, just closed fists and holding hands. Not bad. It would have been nice to maybe at least have one open hand, I think, but that is where you can use some other different option parts, like the Jigen build knuckles, the square ones, if you want. Then we have our 2 beam saber effect parts in clear yellow for the beam sabers that you saw there on the back of the skirt. And we have our beam rifle, which is just pretty standard Hyaku-Shiki beam rifle. The handle doesn't move at all, so that's not going to have that gimmick. It's all just molded in 3 pieces, just 2 pieces sandwiched together, and then the barrel part you just pop on there. And then we have our clay bazooka. Clay bazooka is pretty cool. Handle on this does collapse in like that, because then you can mount this onto the backpack. Pretty nice detail on this as well. I mean, it's a pretty simple bazooka, but it does work pretty well. This can mount onto the backpack on here. You're just gonna pop this onto there like that, and then that's mounted onto the backpack. So it's kind of a shame that you can't mount the rifle on the backpack as well, but at least you can put the bazooka on there and it'll be nice and secure on there like that. It's a little bit different from the Master Grade. This actually clips onto the side of the backpack. The Master Grade, it's like onto like the joint part between there, if I remember correctly. So that's it for the accessories. So here we are compared with the Master Grade. You can see a huge difference in that gold now. And I was wrong about the weapons connection onto the backpack. It's the same as on the Master Grade, so just disregard that part. But as you can see, just the Master Grade has so much more detail as you would expect from a Master Grade, and the Master Grade is also a 2.0 kit. So it's a 2.0, and the HG kit is also kind of a 2.0 with it being a Revive, so should be kind of similar. But anyway, just overall pretty much gonna be, you know, like I said, very, very similar in terms of their overall look and proportions and all of that. It's just that one is in 1/100 scale with a lot more detail. One was in 1/44 scale with much less detail and a much kind of crappier gold, if you ask me. I would have much preferred the HG to be like in the same plated gold and have it just be, you know, like 7,000 yen more expensive, or however much it would have been, maybe 1,000 yen more expensive. Oh, it's not 7,700 or 1,000 yen more. I think with it being the number 200 kit in the line, I think they could have gone more expensive. I mean, yeah, nobody wants a more expensive kit. Everyone always wants stuff cheaper, but for like it being number 200 and they kind of hyped it up as like a big event, to have something that cost a little bit more, say if it costs, I guess it would have probably been around like 3,000 yen, I guess, if it was plated. But I think people would have paid it. Like I said, the Hyaku-Shiki is really popular, so that's that. And for just another comparison, here he is with the Revive Gundam Mark II, his little buddy there from Zeta, and it kind of makes you wonder. Now we have the Mark II, the Hyaku-Shiki, and also the Cubile. As I mentioned in the unboxing, I think it's probably only a matter of time until we get a Revive Zeta Gundam. I think a lot of people have been expecting it, a lot of people are hoping for it, and I think it makes sense. I think it's really just, like I said, it's only a matter of time. But if not the Zeta, what other mobile suit do you think from Zeta Gundam, from the animated series, do you think that they might be making in the Revive line soon? I mean, there's quite a few HG kits out there from it, so leave a comment down below. Let me know, what do you think might be coming out in the Revive line, also from Zeta? It'd be interesting to know. So in terms of the weapons and accessories that we get with this kit, I think it really comes with everything that you would want. So, you know, some kits you kind of wish it would maybe have come with some weapon that you didn't get, or it didn't have a stand or something that should have had a stand. I think this one, it doesn't need a stand. Of course, it looks so much better if you have some sort of stand. And the weapons, I think the only thing that maybe would have been cool, like I said before, some different hand options. Maybe a second clay bazooka, so that you could actually put 2 on the back, because you have 2 slots on the backpack where you can put something. You're only going to ever use one. So kind of maybe it would have been cool to have a second clay bazooka, and then you could have, you know, 2 of them. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if you could maybe steal one from a different kit. I'm sure you could, but it wouldn't be exactly the same. As far as I know, this is the first time that this exact design has been used. If you use another one from a previous kit, it would look a little bit different, and I don't know if it would fit in that backpack, but you could try. I guess, at least like with the Master Grade, you can take one from the DJ and one from the Hyaku-Shiki, and you can have, you know, your Hyaku-Shiki having 2. Anyway, so just, I think it's appropriate, the stuff that it did come with, and so, you know, the Hyper Mega Launcher is a P Bandai exclusive, and I'm okay with that. I don't think it should have been included with this set. I personally don't really care too much about it. I'm not planning on buying that. So I think it's better that they just sold that separately. Would it have been nice if it was not P Bandai? Yeah, kind of, I guess, maybe. But as just like if HGUC had that kind of system, like build custom set, like in Build Fighters, how they have the build custom sets. If this is a Build Fighters kit, I could see like the Hyper Mega Launcher being like a separate set like that. But Unfortunately, HGUC does not have that. So that's going to be just about it for the HGUC number 200 Revive Hyaku-Shiki. It's a great kit, I think, but definitely plan on painting it. As like I said in the review of the Gansalot, go ahead and buy some gold paint. Hopefully you have some leftover gold paint and you can use that to paint this kit as well. I would say definitely painting that gold is going to be better. Again, just out of box, if you don't want to paint that gold, it's passable, but like I said, you can see some defects in the gold that is going to be, if you look at it from a distance, you're not going to notice, but if you're looking at it up close, it's going to look like a toy, of course, more than a model. So I would say just giving it a nice gold paint job, or whatever color you want, of course, would be the best way to go. So that's going to be it, guys. If you have any other questions or comments about this, leave those down below. Again, let me know what you think would be a cool suit to get from the Zeta series in the Revive line. So something that we've already got out in HGUC. Like the maybe Psycho Gundam. That'd be a cool Revive kit, I think. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.